This is part 7 of set 1 of our Prof. Ed enhancement drills. Let's continue. 121. Teacher Cyrene gave a true or false pretest on social justice. Based in the pretest results, she taught her class social justice by correcting wrong concepts and affirming right answers. Then she gave a post-test. Among forms of assessment, which one did Teacher Edna do? I think which one? Parang which one yata to? Letter A, assessment as learning. B, assessment of learning. C, assessment for and as learning. And letter D, assessment for learning. So your answer should be letter D, assessment for learning. So assessment for learning happens before or during instruction to guide teaching and improve student understanding. So Teacher Cyrene used a pretest to identify misconceptions and then adjusted her teaching. Tandaan, ang assessment as learning focuses on student self-assessment, which was not the case. Yung assessment of learning naman happens after teaching to evaluate performance, but this was done before and during instruction. So okay, so yung as learning nakuha mo na. So yung letter C is yung pinagsamang for and as. So 121 is D. Number 122, what is the meaning of a plus or positive plus 60% percentile score in relation to the class? Letter A, got 60% correctly. Letter B, got 40% of items correctly. Letter C, scored better than 60% of class. And letter D, scored less than 60% of class. Hala, anong sagot mo dito? So, ang ibig sabihin nito is scored better than 60% of the class. So, a percentile score shows the percentage of students who scored lower than a particular student. So, a 60th percentile, ibig sabihin yan, the student performed better than 60% of classmates. Yung letter A, got 60% correctly. A percentile score does not represent raw scores. Yung letter B naman, got 40% of items correctly. So this misinterprets percentile ranking as percentage correct. No? This is a misinterpretation. Yung letter D naman is scored less than 60% of the class. So this is the opposite of what a 60th percentile means. So yung 122 ay letter C. 123, a multiple choice test items has been analyzed. The analysis shows that option A among other options, B, C, and D was not at all chosen by the examinees. So what does this imply? So yung A ay hindi napili ng mga examinee. So letter A was a plausible option. A was the correct answer. Letter C, A was a very effective distractor, and letter D, A was not an effective distractor. So ang tamang sagot ay letter D. A distractor should attract some wrong answers. So since no one chose A, it was ineffective. Hindi siya epektibong distractor. Ano? So yung letter A, if it were plausible, some students would have selected or chosen it. Kaya lang hindi siya plausible. So yung letter B naman, the analysis only shows that no one picked it. So not that it was correct. So no one picked it. And letter C, so a good distractor should mislead some students, but no one is misled by letter A or option A. So 123 is letter D. Hindi siya magandang, hindi siya epektibong distractor. 124, when household tasks are typecast as the female's responsibility, what is reinforced in classroom management? Gender stereotype, work orientation, social responsibilities, cultural privileges. So your answer sa number 124 ay letter, yan ang tinatawag na gender stereotype. So assigning household tasks to only females enforces traditional gender roles. So this goes against gender equality in education. Yung letter B, work-oriented, refers to career preferences, not gender roles. Yung social responsibilities naman includes fairness, not discrimination. At letter D, cultural privileges, it's not related to reinforcing gender roles. So 124 ay A. 125. What activity does not add to phonetic awareness? A. Use of spelling. B. Songs in language. C. Reading for understanding. And letter D. Games in language learning. So, ang tamang sagot dyan ay reading for understanding. So, 125C kasi pag sinabing phonetic awareness, so nakafocus ito sa sounds, while reading for understanding focuses on meaning. No? So, iniintindi yung meaning, hindi yung sound. So, yung letter A, spelling reinforces phonetic patterns. Diba? Yung phonology. Yung letter B naman, songs, kanta, nakakatulong sa mga estudyante para ma-recognize ang sound, yung tamang pronunciation. At yung letter D, so many games involve sound recognition. So 125 ay letter C. Number 126. Number 126. For what kind of children are pictures with minimal details effective? A. Attention deficits. B. High intellectual learners. C. Speech disorders. And letter D. Creative children. So your answer should be high attention deficit ang tamang sagot dito. Kasi yung ibig sabihin nito, children with attention deficits benefit from minimal visual details to avoid distractions. Yung high intellectual learners can process complex details. Yung letter C naman, speech disorders, speech difficulties are not linked to picture complexity. At yung letter D, creative children, they prefer detailed, engaging visuals. So number 26 ay letter A. Number 27, how can teacher Mara apply the principle of emphasis on self-assessment? Letter A, by motivating her students to set personal learning goals while tracking their progress against those goals. B, by preparing her students for higher order thinking questions. And letter C, by making her students checks on test papers. And letter D, by requiring them scoring rubric as a project. So your answer should be letter A, motivating her students to set personal learning goals. Self-assessment involves setting goals and monitoring their progress. Yung letter B, it's more related to cognitive challenge than self-assessment. Yung letter C naman, checking answer is not self-assessment. At yung letter D, using rubrics helps assessment, but this is not self-assessment itself. So 127 ay letter A. 128. Among the measurement factors stated below, which belong to the language ability variable? Letter A, manual dexterity. B, reading skills. C, computational skills. And letter D, logic and reasoning. So what's your answer, teacher? So pwede mo nang isulat ang sagot bago natin i-reveal. Dapat noon pa, no? So number 128 is letter B, reading skills. Reading skills are directly related to language ability. Yung letter A is related to motor skills, not language. Yung letter C naman is related to math, hindi sa language. At yung letter D, logic and reasoning is important but not directly tied or related sa language ability. So 128 is B. Number 129. What is countered by a Korean Boys and Girls Scout that prohibits parents to see their intern children even in the event of sickness? Social dyad, hormone imprints, parental attachment, and letter D, an ecclesio relationship. So your answer should be, sige daw. Social dyad is incorrect. The answer is letter C, parental attachment. So children develop emotional bonds with parents, So strict school policies that limit parental visits can weaken these attachments. So yung letter A is social dyad. A dyad is a two-person interaction, not a general emotional bond. Yung hormone imprints naman, hormone influence our behavior, but they do not explain these scenarios, number 29. At yung letter D, it's not a common term for parental attachment. So 129 ay letter C. 130. Which of the situations below is an example of diagnostic assessment? Letter A, 10 items test for specific concepts difficult to students. B, journal writing after discussion on a news commentary. C, quiz at the end of the chapter in psychology. And letter D, achievement test to grade 7 students. So let me know. What's your answer, teacher? The answer here is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Letter A. So 130 is letter A kasi ang diagnostic assessment identifies learning gaps in specific areas bago ang instruction. Yung journal writing after discussion, yung letter B, this is a reflective but not diagnostic. Yung letter C, quiz at the end of a chapter, is summative, not diagnostic. At yung letter D naman, achievement test, evaluates learning after instruction, not before. So 130 ay letter A. Number 131. What must the teacher require to his learners for an experiment to find an answer to the specific problem of whether aerial plants can also survive on land? Letter A. Observe aerial plant survival if transferred to soil and write observation. B. Put and paste literature on this experiment. Research on past similar experiments. C. Retrieve answers from the internet. And letter D. Write an essay comparing different findings of previous studies. So your answer should be letter. That's very good. Letter A. Did you get that, teacher? So scientific experiments require direct observation and data collection to test a hypothesis. So the best way to determine if aerial plants can survive in soil is mag-conduct ng experiment para at saka i-record yung observation. So that's the best way to determine. Yung letter B is reviewing past research will also help, but it does not replace yung actual experimentation. Yung letter C naman, searching online can provide information, but it does not confirm the results through first-hand experience. At yung letter D, writing an essay is not the best way to find an answer to the specific problem. So, yung answer natin dito is backed by the theory of learning by doing. Okay, so number 131 is A. Number 132, which is the highest in Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Socialization, self-esteem, health and safety, self-actualization. Your answer, teacher, is that's very good. Socialization is wrong. It's letter D, self-actualization. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization is the highest level where a person reaches their full potential. So yung letter A is part of social needs, which are lower in the hierarchy. Yung letter B naman, it comes before self-actualization, but this is not the highest. At yung letter C, so these are basic needs and they must be met before reaching higher levels. So 132 is D. 133. What is the most essential characteristics of the total quality school model? Letter A, student focus. B, continuous improvement, outcome-based management, and letter D, involvement of stakeholders. So, sige nga, your answer, teacher, is, that's very good, letter B. Total quality school model focuses on continuous improvement in teaching and learning. So it comes, it also ensures, of course, it ensures students, teachers, and schools, especially the admin, consistently improve their performance. Yung letter A is important but not the main characteristic. Yung letter C naman focuses on results pero it does not emphasize ongoing improvement. At yung letter D, mahalaga ito, no? This is necessary but improvement is the core principle. So 133 is letter B. That's nice. Next, let's move to 134. Upon which philosophy is the basis of the back to basics movement. Aba, may keyword ka na kaagad dyan. Basic. Letter A, essentialism. B, behaviorism. C, progressivism. Or D, existentialism. So your answer should be, sige nga. Okay, good. Letter A, essentialism. So this philosophy focuses on teaching fundamental knowledge and skills which aligns with the back to basics movement. Yung behaviorism natin sa B focuses on conditioning and reinforcement, of course environment also, not the basics of education. Yung letter C naman emphasizes experiential learning rather than traditional core knowledge, at yung existentialism encourages personal choice and meaning making, not structured learning. So 134 IA. 135. Which best defines morally mature person? Letter A, religious practice. B, sharing moral views. C, practice of universal values. And letter D, exercise of human rights. So anong sinagot ko dyan, teacher? Sige nga. Okay, the answer is exercise of human rights is wrong. It should be letter C. That's the highest. So a morally mature person follows ethical principles that apply to all people, such as honesty and respect. Yung religious practice, well, religion can influence morals, but morality is broader. At yung sharing naman of moral views, it is simply expressing beliefs, and it does not make one morally mature. At yung letter D, yung exercise of human rights, this is very important also, but not the full definition of moral maturity kasi mas mataas yung universal values. Okay? So 135 by letter C. Number 136. From whose efforts can modeling of academic expectations in school be achieved? A, trifocal education officials. B, citizens themselves. C, all internal and external stakeholders. And letter D, teacher all over the country. So the answer should be 136. Sige nga, teacher. Your answer is 3, 2, 1. Nakaisip ka na? Okay, good. So the answer is letter C, all internal and external stakeholders. So ang education quality is a shared responsibility among teachers, parents, sa ating mga government official at sa buong komunidad, sa community. Yung letter A, trifocal education official, so they play a role but they cannot do it alone. Yung letter B naman, citizens themselves, so education is not solely the responsibility of citizens. At yung letter D, teachers contribute but stakeholders work together. So 136 ay letter C. 137, among the portfolios below, which enables you to determine if you realized your intended learning outcomes. Letter A, showcase portfolio. B, evaluation portfolio. C, developmental portfolio. And letter D, assessment portfolio. So your answer is showcase portfolio is incorrect. It's letter B, evaluation portfolio. So an evaluation portfolio shows evidence of learning and whether students have met their learning goals. So evaluation portfolio ang kailangan natin dyan. Yung showcase for portfolio displays best work but not necessarily for evaluation. Yung developmental portfolio naman, tinatrack nito yung progress but it does not determine final achievement. At yung assessment portfolio, incorrect din ito kasi a general term yung assessment is a general term that can include different types of portfolio. Note, ang assessment primarily focuses on gathering data para ma-measure ang individual progress at makapag-provide ng feedback para sa improvement. Samantalang yung evaluation naman, involves making judgments and determining the overall effectiveness of or value of a program, project, or performance based on collected data. So usually this has a broader perspective. So essentially, assessment is about diagnosing learning needs, while evaluation is about judging the quality of outcomes. So in this case, 137 ay letter B. 138. Teacher Manuela made a list of learning activities for her lesson plan, but she did not include blank because this is a common activity in daily lessons. Letter A, project. B, presentation. C, summative exam. And letter D, buzz session. So 138, anong sinagot mo, teacher? Sige nga. Let me give you some few seconds. So, okay. The answer here is letter D, buzz session. Bakit buzz session, hindi presentation? Well, ang buzz sessions are common in daily lessons, so they may not need to be listed separately in a lesson plan. Pag sinabing buzz session, it is a short, maikli interactive group discussion where participants actively share their ideas and perspectives on a specific topic. So usually, ginagamit ito sa brainstorming sessions para makapag-generate ng mas malawak na sakop, or wide range of solutions or feedback. And this term, buzz, implies a lively and energetic exchange of thoughts within small groups. So yung project, this requires planning and time, so it must be listed. Yung presentation also needs preparation and it is a structured activity. At yung letter C, summative exam, so this is a major assessment that must be planned. So 138 ay letter D. 139, arrange the steps in strategic instructional planning in chronological order. So ito yung steps. Check materials, decide expected outcomes, establish content, outline presentation of lessons. So these are last one is implement instruction. So these are your options. Letter A, 3, 4, 2, 1, 5. Letter B, 3, 2, 4, 1, and 5. C, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 5. And letter D, 2, 1, 3, 4, and 5. So anong sinagot mo dyan, teacher? Okay. Let me wait for your answer. Nakaisip ka na? You can pause it. Okay. So the answer should be letter B. So the correct order of strategic instructional planning is, of course, number 3 ang una. Established content. So identify what to teach. So sunod niyan yung number 2, decide expected outcome. So define learning goals para may basihan ka ng assessment later. So yung susunod nito, outline the presentation of the lesson. That's number 4. And in this step, you have to plan how to teach. Paano mo i-deliver? How will you attack the lesson? And then number 4, punta ka na sa susunod, yung check materials. Number 1. So, you have to ensure the necessary resources are available. At pinakahuli yung implementation, implement instruction. So you will conduct the lesson in this step na. So 139 ay letter B. 140, what program should be implemented to upgrade teachers on the issue of local and global terrorism? Letter A, seminars on dangers of terrorism. B, integrate terrorism module in curriculum. C, upgrade on terrorism in school newsletter. Letter D, poster campaign on anti-terror advocates. Sige, ano sinagot mo? Okay, the answer is letter B, educating students about terrorism through the curriculum. Masisiguro natin so we can ensure that the students understand the danger and the prevention. So yung letter A, seminars on dangers of terrorism. So this is helpful but not as sustainable as the curriculum integration. Yung letter C naman, it raises awareness but it does not provide structured learning. At yung letter D, it encourages advocacy but this is not an in-depth learning approach. So 140 ay letter B. Okay, so perfect. So and that's part 7 of set 1 of our Prof-Ed enhancement drills. Let's continue in the next video in the last part of this set.